Today I'm sharing 10 hacks, and maybe a bonus hack I've slipped in there as well, so you will seem like a seasoned pro, even if you're just starting out. It's next on Till We Make It. I'm Mike Quackenbush, and this is Till We Make It. If you are passionate about the craft of professional wrestling, and you're never done learning all about it, well, you've landed in the exact right place, my friend, so go ahead and join the Till We Make It tribe. Subscribe down below, leave a like-a-palooza, do those other YouTube engagement algorithm things. I would really appreciate it. And if you want to take your support of Till We Make It to the next level, consider joining me over on Patreon. There is a link down below in the descriptus where, for as little as $5 a month, you're going to get instant access to our private Discord. You'll be able to access over 100 exclusives, including more than 50 videos that will never be seen here on the YouTube channel. Help us to curate this communal repository of wrestling knowledge. This is only possible thanks to my great patrons. Today I want to share with you at least 10 hacks, which aren't big enough to warrant their own video, and yet these are important things for wrestlers to know early on in their career to help them look more like seasoned professionals. This first one is one I've seen way too many rookies struggling with. It has to do with how you lace up your boots. And you know boot laces come in all different lengths. You might be in a position where you can hit every eyelet coming up your boot, and then you still end up with 2 feet of lace at the very top. Well, if you've got too much boot lace for your boots, do an extra lap around your calf muscle and then tie it off in front so you don't end up with this giant bow hanging out of your boots, which looks kind of goofy. This second hack is so old, it's new again. I first heard this almost 29 years ago. If you are struggling to remember one key part of a spot, every time you call it back, every time you're working with your opponent, you keep forgetting the same thing, write one keyword to jar your memory on your wrist tape. So if you can remember that you get banderoed out of the ring and you slingshot yourself in over the top rope into a 3/4 roll and you catch a kick, but you can't remember dragon screw, write the word dragon on your wrist tape. It will have no greater significance to anyone if they could even see it. But the act of doing that alone might be enough to cement it in your memory, and if that's not enough, don't worry, it'll be right where you left it. Hack number 3 isn't one of mine. Shout out to Max Smashmaster for the help on this one. If you wear face paint in the ring, and it keeps smudging when you perform, so that you look like a sad mime that's been out in the rain too long, you need to switch from an oil-based or grease paint to an acrylic. Get glossy acrylic paint, and what you might notice is from time to time it will flake off, but it won't smudge or stain your gear or the canvas of the ring in which you are performing. Hack number 4, no, could have fit into my video about veteran advice I wish I had heard earlier in my career. It's this. As soon as you are done making your rounds, saying hello and shaking hands and introducing yourself to everyone, start gearing up. Don't wait, because you never know when you might get shifted into curtain jerker position. If you're going out first, you've got to be prepared. And if nothing else, it shows to whomever is in charge that you are professional. You are ready to go to work. Someone that isn't geared up isn't ready to go to work. And if something were to arise that required someone to go to the ring to cut a promo, or their match had to move from being in position 6 to position 1, you would be adequately prepared because you're already geared up, whereas someone who is not isn't ready to go to work. If you're relatively new to wrestling, this is something we aren't talking about enough, so listen up. If you are performing in a battle royal or some big brawl like a pull-apart, don't cock your arm back outside of your field of vision, because the moment that you do, you will invariably throw some unexpected elbow into somebody's unsuspecting skull. You've got to restrict any strikes you throw to your full field of vision so that everybody stays safe. This one's from my personal playbook. Hack number 6, no, is for those of you out there plagued by cotton mouth while you are wrestling. Your mouth gets so dried out that you can't rehydrate it, and you need something to stimulate your salivary glands. If you need to have an extra piece of gum at the ready to do just that, give it to the ref beforehand and then just have them pass it to you when you need it during the match. Do not attempt to secrete it in your wrist tape or in the lining of your trunks or down in your boot, because when you need it, you're never going to be able to fish it out. You just won't. Take it from a guy who had to find this out the hard way. You will not find it when you need it, but you will find it later after it's been made warm and is sticking to all kinds of things you wish it weren't. Number 7 is one I've learned traveling the highways and byways of the independent circuit. If you know you are going to a venue without a proper locker room, gear up before you leave home. Gear up before you even begin the trip, because changing into your gear in your car in the parking lot outside the venue is a recipe for an awkward fan interaction you wish had never happened. Don't chance it. Gear up at home and then put on a tracksuit or a set of sweats and do the drive to the venue. You're going to show up ready to go. Quick bonus one, kind of related to that last one, but I had to stick this one in here for you. If you're going to a venue with a notoriously small locker room, you can become the hero of the roster by recommending that after everyone is dressed, you take all those big roller bags and you're going to make a tower out of them in one corner of the room. Just stack them as high as possible. Put the hard shell ones on the bottom, the not so hard shell ones on top, and you'll create all this additional floor space inside that tight little locker room. This next hack is for those of you out there who perform in a mask. Number 8 is this. If your mask has a tendency to slide around on your head, no matter how tight you tie your laces, then you need to build into the way you sell something that organically allows you to touch the mask. Maybe it's the way that you clutch your head or neck when you're on the cell, and you're going to use that to disguise the fact that you are adjusting your mask so that you can see and breathe freely. It's dangerous to be performing in a mask if it's askew and you are partially blinded, right? Of course it is. But you don't want to shatter the illusion of conflict by stopping what you're doing for the sake of fixing your mask. So build it into the selling that you are already doing. When you don't and you're constantly fidgeting with your mask, well, it at worst makes it seem like you're a nervous rookie who doesn't know what they're doing. At best, you seem like someone who bought an off-the-rack suit several sizes too big for them, and neither of these are especially desirable results. Because this is the internet, someone will find this shocking. But here we go. Are you one of those wrestlers who pees a little bit when they get kicked in the stomach or take a particularly spicy senton right to the midsection? If that sounds like you, I got a hack for you. Way back in the 90s, I was wrestling at the Flagstaff in Jim Thorpe, PA, and I saw a wrestler who shall remain nameless stand at the sink and splash water on their face, chest, and trunks while their music was playing. And I said, "What are you doing?" And they turned to me and said, "Sometimes I pee a little in my matches, and in case it happens tonight, no one will ever know." And then they ran to the ring. You can't make this stuff up, kids. And hack number 10 is undoubtedly the most mission critical of all, so listen up. When something goes wrong as you're performing your match live in the ring, shut things down by grabbing a hold. Don't slink back into your corner away from your opponent or take a powder and then think things over while making a lap around the ring. You can't communicate with your opponent in those situations. So grab a hold, work your way down to the mat, figure out where you're going next, and then get back on track. When things get a little askew or you forget what's coming next, grab a hold and don't resume until you know where the performance is headed. I hope I've been able to deliver these 10 hacks to you before you truly need them. That way, they'll be loaded in your utility belt, ready at a moment's notice. If there's a hack you want to share with the group that I missed, go on and drop that right now down below in the comments. Big thanks to some of my patrons like Joe and Nick. It's the support of my patrons that make this possible. And if you want to see your name here, well, you know what to do. Follow the link to my Patreon appearing on the screen right now. It's also down below in the descriptors. We'd love to have you join us. And now that you've got 10 hacks, here are 9 mistakes you can't afford to make just a click away.